And good morning. Am I on mic? As we're waiting for the latecomers to arrive. Good morning. My name is Gene Langell, and it is my pleasure to welcome you to the Golden Gate Center for Spiritual Living. Now, a bit of housekeeping. Last night at the movie theater, the announcement regarding the silencing of phones began with this question. When you turn off your phones, does it dream? So please put it in sleep mode. Now, please greet your nearby friends with a great wake-up morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
And I guess that's enough. All right, and now I direct your attention to Bobby.
Spirit of the wind. Are you ready to sing? Are you ready to sing? Spirit of the wind, carry me. Spirit of the wind, carry me home. Spirit of the wind, carry me home to myself. Spirit of the wind, carry me. Spirit of the wind, carry me home. Spirit of the wind, carry me home to myself. And I love you so. You help me see you in all, just to see you in me. And I'm in you and you're in me. I'm in you and you're in me. I'm in you and you're in me. Spirit of the wind, carry me. Spirit of the wind, carry me home. Spirit of the wind, carry me home to myself. Spirit of the wind, carry me. Spirit of the wind, carry me home. Spirit of the wind, carry me home to myself. And I love you so. You help me see you in all. Now look at somebody else. And I'm in you and you're, look at somebody else's eyes. I'm in you and you're in me. I'm in you and you're in me. I'm in you and, now look at somebody else's eyes. I'm in you and you're in me. I'm in you and you're in me. Great, I'm in you and you're in me. Spirit of the wind, Spirit of the wind, carry me, everybody. Spirit of the wind, carry me home. Spirit of the wind, carry me home to myself. Spirit of the wind, carry me. Spirit of the wind, carry me home. Spirit of the wind, carry me home to myself. One more time. Spirit of the wind, carry me. Spirit of the wind, carry me home. Spirit of the wind, carry me home to myself.
Good morning. I'm Reverend Karyl Huntley, and I'd like to take the wonderful message of that chant into our hearts and pray on that this morning, to carry us home to ourselves. So I begin by knowing that the infinite presence that makes itself into every self, is everywhere, in and through all beings, the foundation of all circumstances, the ground between underneath every path, the energy between those who love one another, the vision of a new idea. It is everything in heart and mind and spirit. I call that God, but you can call it anything. And that presence, that power, that infinite intelligence is who I am. And it is who each one is in this space here, and anyone receiving the sound of my voice is enlivened by this infinite love and intelligence. And as I come home to myself, and as each one comes home to their individualized selves, I know that that self is the one life that God is. Not needing to change anything, do anything, promise anything, believe anything. That is the truth. I am that which God is. Each one is that which God is. The world round, it is us that is the self of God. And so, for the infinite meanings of this, in my life, in my relationships, in my work, in my abundance, in my health, and that's true for everyone here, I bless the self of God that I am, and each one as well. Releasing this word into the law, which always operates and always says yes. I give my thanks and declare this to be so, and so it is. Amen. Good morning once again. Welcome, everyone. And I would like to introduce 2/3 of Deep Six. Deep Six is our own Bodie, and then Westman, Adamich, Weintraub, Juniper, and Bettlinger. And these six are called Deep Six. They're old friends. They do wonderful, wonderful harmonies and music of a truly uplifting nature. They come home to themselves. They invite us to ourselves, and they are going to be in performance tonight. All three-thirds of them, the sixths of them, tonight at 6:30 in the Sleeping Lady in Fairfax. So please welcome Deep Six.
This is a song about hope.
People start crying and dying all around the world.
Norm Weintraub wrote that song.
That was very well. Thank you. Thanks. So my name is Margaret Shovelin. This is my first time up here. Yay! And I'm a licensed practitioner here at Golden Gate Centers for Spiritual Living, and I think my husband and I joined in October, yes, but have been a practitioner for 5 years. So today's gratitude is, so who here has taken classes here? Anywhere? All right, great. So everyone who has taken a class here, we're very grateful for you for taking classes, because you have grown your own consciousness and contributed to the world and the larger world as well. So we are very grateful for those of you who taken classes, and we're actually grateful for all of those that are thinking about taking classes. And with that, I'm going to just segue into the class section right here and just talk about the fact that, where's Gail Durkin? Oh, well, Gail Durkin is teaching the mind-body connection, and she is a practitioner and a physical therapist. And so if you can sign up today, and the class will start this coming Thursday. And since I did that, oops. Everybody's on schedule here. Well, let's go ahead and just bless our inner child here at this moment. We'll go ahead and bless our inner child and bless that our children are here and that they are learning in consciousness what we really wanted to learn when we were younger too. So with that said, Asilomar, the time is approaching for Asilomar, but you can still sign up for this week-long Love Fest. And who has gone? I know I went. It's absolutely amazing. You're in church for a whole week. So imagine when you leave here and you're just feeling all yummy, that goes on for a whole week. So there's speakers, workshops, concerts, parties, meditation, great food. The ocean's you're right by the ocean, and it's from 7 a.m. to midnight. And the theme this year is Experience Love's Connection. And it's in the bulletin, so you can read more. All right. And you'd like to talk about Joel Fontino?
You received today the flyer for Joel Fontino's. And I love this man. Joel was actually a member here and a practitioner here for about 20 minutes as he moved from Denver to San Francisco to New York. And he has become a minister in the metaphysical movement, and he is the publisher of Tarcher Press. So all of the Ernest Holmes material, all of the Raymond Charles Barker material, all of the books that you use for your classes are his children. And he is doing a workshop based on Think and Grow Rich, and he has written a workbook for this, a journal for this, and I would sit by the feet of Joel Fontino's anytime I can. So I want you to mark your calendar. This is the holiday weekend, but take a holiday with Joel and me.
And I'd like to go ahead and invite Bob up to talk about Forgiveness Day.
Thank you very much. 2 weeks from now, we have the International Forgiveness Day weekend, and I certainly hope that all of you have that marked on your calendar as the day after you get back from Asilomar. And on Saturday, August the 4th, we have a couple of masters. We have Matthew Fox and Reverend David MacArthur from Unity Church of Walnut Creek. They will be doing workshops on that Saturday, and then on Sunday we will have the Forgiveness Day with 4 great heroes. One of the ladies that'll be with us was at Mumbai when the terrorists attacked in India, and she lost her daughter and she lost her husband. And she speaks from the heart. She really is into forgiveness. She's out there going into schools, and she's just totally... So we have 4 heroes, including Matthew Fox, including Reverend MacArthur, and a lady named Sarah Leahy, a young woman who was abused as a kid but grew and now has started a nonprofit called Hunting for Happiness. She's a powerhouse. So please put that on your calendars. I'll have flyers out here by next week, and let us keep forgiving, right? Keep getting better and better at what we're doing. But so thank you very much.
Thank you, Bob, for the great work that you're doing out in the world on Forgiveness Day. And if for any more information, please read your bulletin. There's lots of really cool stuff in here. And I especially would like to acknowledge and welcome the first-timers that are here today, and that you are so welcome to share in our space, and that you are the perfect expression of the divine, and you are here by divine appointment. So we're very grateful that you're here today. And I encourage everybody to hug somebody new that you don't know or would like to know more today, later after the service. Thank you.
So I think we should give Margaret an acknowledgement. That is so great. That's so great. It's minimally nerve-wracking when you start out something like this. So very good job. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So good morning once again. I'm going to put this in my outgoing letter. I just want to say that I think subconsciously we don't get in the line of the camera, because look at this little pocket of empty seats smack in the middle, and then a full house around you. So it's odd for me, to look at this little vacuum right here in the middle. So don't be afraid to sit in front of the camera. Mostly it's on me and Bodie, but then every once in a while we wave to the people in Webland. So let's do that right now. Good morning. See how easy that is? That's so great. And please fill in the middle next week. Okay. So our theme, for those of you that are new here, the theme for the whole year is Tools for Transformation, because we are about changing at depth, changing for the better, for ourselves and for the world. And just like Margaret said, when you take a class, that's what happens. But when you come to Sunday service and apply the lesson, that's what happens too. So every week we have a word that if you integrate that word into your life, you will work on that transforming path. The tree represents all of the words that we've had so far. And in your bulletin, there's a list on the back right here. So our theme for July is embracing nature. And so it gives me an opportunity to do one of my favorite things, and that is to give you a series of talks, spiritual talks, on the first division or ordering of the natural world that our ancestors did. They saw that there were 4 elements that made up everything. And those elements, not like oxygen and helium and things that we know on the periodic table, but the elements that they loved, revered, worshipped, believed in, used, and followed the wisdom of, are earth, air, fire, and water. Last week we talked about earth. And today we are talking about air. But before I get into air and talk about this amazing altar that Suzanne Mabardi did for us, I want to, well, she'll probably get 2 applauses. So I think that every single one of us made a very conscious choice on the soul level to come to earth. And we came to earth to do what is on earth to do. To have a body, to have relationships, and to interact with those basic elements, earth, air, fire, and water. And if we don't get to do that so much, I believe that if we are into our iPads and our elevators inside big buildings, and we don't get to feel the natural wind and rain on our faces and put our toes in the mud, that when we get to the end of this earthly experience and we say goodbye to what is here on earth for us, we won't be satisfied. And why would we have chosen to come to earth if it weren't to be satisfied, really? I mean, you wouldn't have consciously, you don't now, and you wouldn't then have made a choice to just aggravate yourself. You make choices because you think you're going to enjoy them and be satisfied by the results. And I believe it's really, 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 really good for our souls to be satisfied. And that doesn't mean having a good time all the time. Being satisfied is richly living the life that we came to live. And part of that richly living the life that we came to live is to interact with the elements of earth, including air. So now, take a deep breath. Now that was a conscious breath. Now we take a breath every few seconds that is largely unconscious. You know, we don't really think about the air unless we have trouble getting it. Then it's really, really in our awareness. But mostly, air is a given for us. We don't think about breath much. And we don't think about air much because it is the invisible element. And so first and foremost, air symbolizes for us the invisible support that we have from the infinite presence, the support that we have from spiritual principle, the support that we have from life-giving qualities like love, peace, joy, and beauty. And it symbolizes for us all from the unseen realm that comes to support us. So now the crickets are that's such a nice little ring. The sounds of nature travel to us on the invisible air. And so sound is one of the symbols of air, because if it weren't that it gets to travel through air and impact our hearing mechanism, we wouldn't have it. So that was very nicely timed. So air is also the element of mutual penetration, interpenetration. And it's really like God in that way too, because if you think about it, air is in us and we move through the air as we walk. Exactly like God or Spirit. Spirit is in us, and because Spirit is everywhere, we move through Spirit. So air is a wonderful meditation tool, and it is the breath and the awareness of the breath, the awareness of inspiration is in every single spiritual tradition. So a really nice walking meditation, when you want to equate air and God, is to, as you're walking, and we're going to simulate this with walking with your hands on your legs here. Breathe in God, and on the exhale, walk in God. Breathe in God, and on the exhale, walk in God. Now, you could do that for 20 minutes and get your exercise and your prayer work done. So, since we can't see it, the symbols that we use for air are what we see in the air or what is carried on the air. So now I want to turn to this fabulous altar that Suzanne made for us. And we have this totem that is in the middle with the winged ones, the birds, the butterflies, the angel at the top, and the feather. And so all of these are symbols of air because they are in the air. The flowers represent fragrance, as does the incense burner. And I just wanted to call your attention to the incense burner. It's Islamic. It has the symbol of the crescent and the star on it. I always love to bring in all spiritual traditions. And so thank you to Russ Mabardi for acquiring that somewhere. And we also have the fan, we have the boomerang, and the bell. The bell is also works like the crickets and like rattles. That when I remember reading, I'm drawing a blank on the author, but he writes about the application of spiritual principle in medicine. And he said he's a surgeon, and he says that he has rattles from all traditions in his office. And he, as he goes into work in the morning, he rattles in honor of the shamans, of other spiritual healing practices, so that he embodies all healing practices as he goes into his work. So I'll probably think of the author before. No, not Bernie Siegel. Dorsey. Larry Dorsey. Good. Or Dawsey. Larry Dawsey. Yeah. Okay, we got it. Good. It just takes three minds, and in the one divine mind, and we get it all. That's like air too. Because one of the aspects of air is clarity and wisdom. Because that also moves through the invisible connectivity of God. So we just had a great example of that. So bells are also a symbol of air. So let's all ring our little bells. Yeah, you got to get them out because we're going to ring them again. Okay. See, that just kind of makes the energy all go bright. Also, prayer flags. So the symbols of, you can stop now. The symbols of the blessings of air are blessings coming to us like the in-breath, and blessings going from us like the out-breath. And the blessings on the out-breath carry our wishes to where our bodies can't go. So if we have prayers for someone around the world, that's the same philosophy as prayer flags. We write the prayer on the prayer flags in many, many traditions, and then the air moves through the flags and carries the prayer to wherever it is needed. Dream catchers are the blessings coming to us, because the whole theory of the dream catcher is that the web of the dream catcher catches our dreams so that they may be made manifest for us. So those are some of the symbols of the air. So air is really central to our relationship with the allness in actually every tradition. And although in many modern churches you would not have a talk on air, but it is still very much a part of the spiritual tradition. And I'm thinking now of Hinduism. A very basic tenet of Hinduism is that element called prana. Prana is a Sanskrit word that means vital life. And at its most subtle form, it is the breath. So it is the sacred gift of life that is then magnified through conscious breathing in meditation and yoga. That practice after practice after practice in Hinduism is about sitting, consciously breathing, and there's something even called pranayama breathing, which is a very conscious way of inhaling and exhaling. But there's actually no difference between the Hindu and the Judeo-Christian reverence for air. I'm taking you to now Genesis, the first book in the Bible, chapter 2, verse 7. And the Lord God formed man of the dust of the ground and breathed into his nostrils the breath of life, and man became a living soul. And so in the Hindu words with the Jewish Bible, it is the prana of God that was breathed into Adam, and therefore in all of us, symbolically, of course. That is the prana, the breath of God, that is in each one of us that we magnify every time we take a breath. So you can go also to the some wisdom of the New Testament. This is from Prayers of the Cosmos. This is the Aramaic translation of the first writings. Neil Donald Klotz does a lot of writings, but this one is about the Lord's Prayer, and actually the opening line, Our Father which art in heaven. Now in Aramaic, which is the language that Jesus spoke, Our Father is translated as Abun. And if you remember, I've given Aramaic lessons, many Aramaic lessons before. Not only does the word mean something, but every single sound in it. So, is the absolute, B is birthing, coming into form, U is the breath or spirit that carries the flow, echoing the sound of breathing and including all forces we now call magnetism, wind, electricity, and Higgs boson. No. But thanks for being with me, David. So Abun literally is talking about the breath of God. And one of the translations for that first line, Our Father which art in heaven, is, O thou, the breathing life of all, creator of the shimmering sound that touches us. And so, isn't that beautiful? And so, it is the prana. It is another translation for that word prana is the mother of thought and mind. So as we breathe in this prana of life, we are inspired. That word means to breathe in, but it also means to have a new idea, right? So we are inspired with the prana of God to have a new idea so that our mind is clarified. And in the ancient tradition of earth-based spirituality, breath is always connected with clarity of vision and clarity of understanding. So, you got enough of that? Okay, this is how it fits into science of mind. The philosophy of our metaphysical life here can be spoken in two skills or two knowings. Oneness and mastery. Oneness means we are all connected. The life of God is in each one of us, and it's the same life. That was my opening prayer, about all of us being one. And then mastery is how we use our mind in order to create the experience of life we want. That is what we are about here. Those two things, and then all of life falls from that. That we are one with each other, one with God, one with our good. And as we know that, and as we name our good, the universe reorganizes itself around us, and we experience mastery because we are living the life that we love. Okay? How does air fit into this? First of all, in oneness, we all breathe the same air. Not only do we breathe the same air today, we are breathing the same air for 3 billion years. Not 4 billion, not as long as the rocks. But what happened is that after the rocks cooled, and as life started, little algae exhaled oxygen. And our atmosphere was born about 3 billion years ago. Thank goodness it is still here. But what that means is we are breathing the air that the dinosaurs breathed. We are breathing the air that every extinct form of animal life breathed. And we are breathing it because the blessed green things keep exhaling the oxygen and inhaling what we exhale, the carbon dioxide. Is that a divine system or what? What it also means is that you are breathing the air of your ancestors. You are breathing the air of your friends. You are breathing the air of strangers. You are breathing the air of people you don't think you like yet. And Deepak Chopra has told us in some of his writing that as we exhale, we also exhale little atoms in us that used to be our liver and used to be our pancreas and used to be our brain. So we exhale with every breath, little bits of us. And so you are literally, physically becoming each other by sitting next to each other. You are breathing in. I know it feels a little intimate. But, you know, what Deepak says with his research is that we have a few hundred atoms that lived in Buddha's body. We have a few hundred atoms that are living in us that lived in Hitler's body. So we are literally, physically one with each other through the air. Now, mastery. Okay, you with me? Do you love this so much? Yeah. Okay, I do too. We alone among beings use breath to speak our word. And our word creates our experience of life. We use the element of air and its symbolism to get clarity, and then we use the actual breath, the prana of life, to activate our vocal folds, so we speak the word into the space, into more air of what it is we want to create. And if you are ever speaking something you do not want to create, don't do that anymore after today. Because the law takes it and makes it. Okay? So, let me read to you a little something from beautiful Hildegard of Bingen. The Word is living, being, spirit, all verdant greening, all creativity. This Word manifests itself in every creature. So once again, every tradition tells us the same thing. And I actually do want to launch into a minute or two of Higgs boson, because that is my new love affair. So get this. I sent out a little article that's actually pretty understandable, I think, in my letter. Okay? So what the Higgs boson is like a field of energy that is everywhere. And its actual density is what sort of grabs a hold of mass and makes it solid as the particles move through it. So it says that if the Higgs boson field were any other consistency, well, here. If it wasn't for the Higgs boson, most elementary particles wouldn't have any mass, and we would just be a mishmash of particles floating in the universe, devoid of form. You wouldn't exist, and neither would the planet Earth or the sun. So it is the consistency of this divine soup, my word, that causes a drag on particles. So what I think happens is that when we speak our word into this void of infinite possibility, our word activates the particles and then the forms that correspond to our word, and as they light up and come together, they drag through the Higgs boson field and become form. It's so great. It is, the Higgs boson, I believe, truly is God. But it's also like kind of thick air. It's invisible, and it's the invisible creative medium that ideas, hear all these ideas, and somebody speaks one of the ideas, and then it sort of kind of comes together a little bit and moves through the field, and the field drags on it, and so it comes even more solid and lands in our life. Is that the best? So, our philosophy is about changing consciousness, about moving ever more into the oneness and ever more into the mastery, and using air in our practice. Here are some examples that you can use. So, just work with me here and breathe when I tell you. Using the air that the dinosaurs breathed, breathe that in. I move my consciousness to the state of living large. I speak my word of power in all that I do. Let that one go. Next one. Using the air that Buddha breathed, and now breathe. I move my consciousness to a state of compassion. I speak my word of compassion for all beings, including myself. And let that one go. Using the air that Moses breathed, breathe in. I hold the name of God in my heart. I speak my word for myself every time I say I am. So, if you want clarity in your life, if you want vision in your life, if you want answers in your life, if you want to send your prayers where you can't go, make up your own spiritual practice using bells, using fans, using fragrance, and know that as you speak your word, you are creating universes. And remaining in this consciousness, we're going to ring our bells. I'll have you repeat some wonderful, wonderful affirmations after me that you will want to come into form. We'll sing a song together. We'll say some more affirmations together. And then I'll cast the vision for our world. Let your bells fall silent. And repeat after me. I am the peace of the world.
I am the peace of the world.
I am the abundance of good.
I am the abundance of good.
I am the principle of healing.
I am the principle of healing.
I am an expression of love.
I am an expression of love.
With soft eyes, if you don't know this song, it's up here.
Breathe.
taking. I give out, I give out, I let love, I let love, I let go, I let go, I release, I know.
And repeat after me. I am beautiful inside and out. I am filled with joy. I am an unrepeatable miracle. I am Spirit's holy creation. And so I now see a world. I see a world where invisible truth of air leads all humankind to believe in invisible spiritual principles. I see a world where all people are careful with their word, knowing the power of creation at their hands. They speak only what they wish to create. I see a world in which the air is always nourishing for animals, plants, and humans. And I see a world in which each breath we breathe exhales our love to all, gives out compassion, moves from us a wish for well-being for all beings everywhere. Blessed be.
You walk to the beat of the rhythm of your feet, and you let your heart sing and your soul body swing. You'll find yourself free like we all are meant to be, and you'll sing with elation as you find your true relation to everything that is in this dance of bliss. Oh, Mani Padme Hum. Mani Padme Hum. We are walking all together in this land of forever on the road to salvation. There won't be annihilation unless it is your ego that keeps you from your true goal, but the rhythm and the beat will help you to complete this task of becoming, so the world will be a humming to a tune we call home, to the sound we call Om. together now and listen to the children, how they dance and they sing, and they keep us in a ring of laughter and delight to help us through the night so our fears will dissipate and our hearts can celebrate this dance we call life. Om Mani Padme Hum, 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 Om Mani Padme Hum.
Yay. As we prepare for our tithes and offerings, I'd like to bring up our president, Katrina Paulson, who has something I think you're going to want to hear.
Thank you, Reverend Karyl. Oh, I just want to breathe into that. Thank you. Thank you for that. And that is truth. Truth. And as Reverend Karyl was speaking in the affirmations about the prayer, I was just toning into that and owning that energy and looking at this beautiful altar and breathing in that air. And we timed this to be around the time of the offering. And I saw our dollar bills and $10 bills and $20 bills floating into the baskets. And I saw the people pressing the donate button and going out into the universe, bringing us our good. So I'm president of the Core Council, which is the leadership entity that represents all of you. And we like to give an update now and then about how we're doing. And this is just a very happy report that our community is doing fabulously. Yay! So the word we get and the prayers that are called forth, we just have a sense that we're doing really well. We're happy, we're in harmony, our staff is happy, our meetings, communications, everything just seems to really be flowing. And for those of you maybe who haven't been here for a long time, we've been working towards this. We've been working on our financial abundance. Reverend Karyl has led many classes. We have many meetings. And one of the things that the Core Council is charged with is being good stewards of those gifts that float from Spirit and through Spirit as you. And we have been doing our job really well. And so many times we've come before you to tell you the truth and be transparent that we're still working on it. And I just am here today to tell you we're seeing the fruits of our work. We're seeing the manifestations. We're seeing the well-being that we claim is ours. And we've known that for a long time. So one of the results one of our intentions for a while has been to have a rainy day fund that we set aside that will float us through challenging times, or when we have special expenses come up. As you know, we've got computers to replace here and there and software and other expenses that we might not know about. So we've charged ourselves with being responsible about that. So just recently, we've been able to take some of the profits that we ended up the year with last year, mostly out of some of the prior events, and we've now transferred that into restricted funds that are there as a manifestation of that rainy day fund that we've set aside to be responsible. And then we've also applause, that's good. As you know, it's not always easy, and we take our jobs very seriously and stand on principle in everything we do. And then the other thing that we really want to celebrate is we've had several months. We had a really successful pledge campaign last year. It was a do-it-yourself, do what you're guided to do pledge campaign, and it was one of the biggest pledges we've had in years. And as a result, we've actually been in the black. I don't have June's financial statements yet, but through May, 4 out of 5 of the months were in the black, ahead of the game. And we see that trend continuing through the summer, actually, which traditionally summer has been a challenging time. So we're really, really grateful for those of you who give your gifts on credit cards and planned giving throughout the year. That really, really blesses us. We thank you for your generosity that you put in the basket every month. And the big result is 2 to 4 years ago, in some of our most challenging times, we did all sorts of things to pull back our expenses. We gave up property at the Learning Center, and we just did everything we could to begin to live within our means. And the staff really partnered with us and took some significant pay cuts, some as much as half. So this month we actually made the decision to restore all those stipends. So Reverend Karyl, our beloved Reverend Karyl, is back making what we agreed to pay her many years ago, and we thank you for your compromises. And Bodie's stipend, and Deborah's stipend, and Jim Homa's stipend, and Cece's hours, they've all been restored, so you can celebrate with us. So breathe that in, and God is good.
Yeah. God's economy.
I just want to say my deep gratitude for the generosity of this community and the health of this community and the work we've all done. You know, I'm just so proud of us. And you know, we're doing fine. And so, thank you. So now, would the ushers please get ready to accept this overflow? And please just live the joy of giving, okay? And so if you would just take your gift in your hands and well, you're already starting to give, so just bless the giving and the gift and the receivers, and so it is. And let's sing.
Some glad morning when this life is over, I fly away to a home on God's celestial shore. I'll fly away. When
we bless these gifts and all the good that they do. We bless this community that has used so wisely these gifts and created more community by means of them. It is good. It is very good. And so it is. Amen. Woo-hoo. Okay, so next week we'll do fire. And I'll also have some stones if you didn't get your gift from last week. So every week for earth, air, fire, and water, you're going to get a little gift, and then you can get a little pouch like this. We're not going to give you a little pouch like this, but you can get your own little pouch and have your little medicine bag of the elements of earth. So be sure to come. And so now Margaret is going to pray us out, and I'll ask the practitioners on the table to come forward.
And I invite the other practitioners to surround the room. And just for all of you to know that these practitioners are serving from love, and if you have some sort of issue or something that you'd like to leave behind, they're here to pray for you after the celebration. And I invite all of you to gently close your eyes if that serves you. And so breathing in the breath of God, knowing that we are breathing in God, breathing out love. I know that there is one power, one presence, one life that I call God. It is everywhere present. It is all there is. And so I am one with that power, that presence, that love, that life, because that is all there is. And as this is true for me, I know it is true for everyone hearing the sound of my voice. And so I speak my word, and I speak my word into the law, and know that I am divinely inspired at each and every moment, that God is living its life through me, that I am here to express absolute joy, peace, harmony, grace, living as God. And as this is true for me, it is true for all who listen to me. And so I know that everyone goes forth divinely inspired and takes action on that inspiration, because it is God expressing through each and every one. And so I'm absolutely grateful for this inspiration, this word that has been spoken here today. I am grateful that peace and harmony, love, truth, and beauty is abiding in each and every one's life. I am grateful for the ease and grace that is living through us as God. And I am grateful for breathing. I am grateful for this breath of God, this breath of all the great masters that is breathing and is part of each one of us. And so I simply release this word into the perfect activity of the law, knowing that it is already accomplished in the mind of God, simply, easily, and in grace. And so it is.
thought of a new name for our group.
What?
Now we are 6.
Now we are 4.
But see, but then. Now we are 4.